Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Pryoxis, and as you can see here, I got my boy Cody Dank and
What
my boy
up?
JMMA here, and what we're doing here is fight prediction. Now, it's a group thing that we actually came up with in December, so we're gonna go ahead and start it off in January with the first UFC event with UFC 270, and we're gonna start off. We're only gonna do the main card, and we're gonna start off with the first fight, Cody. So if you want to start us out here, let's get it.
Yeah, what's up, guys? Yep, so 270, it's a little top heavy, and we did lose to Pereira versus late notice. He was supposed to fight Charles Jourdain. He was supposed to originally fight Movsar Evelev, but that fight got scrapped. Then Jourdain stepped in, and then Topuria had to pull out for like a weight cut issue. So now the first fight on that card is Trevin Giles versus Michael Morales, and Michael Morales making his debut. Um, he's 12-0 right now, but if you look through his fights a little bit, he really hasn't fought really anybody that you guys would probably know. Just really, I mean, came to on the Dana White Contender Series, won a decision. Before then, he was just over at UWC, EMMA, just fighting like regional scene guys. He's got definitely slick jiu-jitsu, got a good amount of submissions on his record. Ground game's pretty legit, but overall, I mean, Trevin Giles definitely fought much higher competition. Obviously, Giles didn't look good in his last fight, got knocked out, but and obviously you got to like worry how he's going to come back from that. But I do think Trevin Giles is one of the more like live underdogs on the card, just because he's fought much tougher competition. He's been in the UFC for a while. Typically, when I break down his fights, I'm like looking to fade him, so it's a little scary to like pick him in a fight. But I do think it's a big step down in competition, and just think that the experience, he should be able to like avoid the submissions. And then, I mean, typically he's been really durable, but in his last fight, obviously Driscus Duplessis knocked him out. But that dude's super dangerous, and I mean, you know, that's
Wasn't
what
that
he
his
does.
debut too, right? First
Yeah, yeah, and I
debut.
mean, he looked really good, but obviously, you got to worry how Trevin's going to come back from that. But I still think that he's good enough to beat Michael Morales. So I think he gives Michael Morales his first loss, probably by decision. What about y'all?
Trevin Giles, from the fights I've seen, especially that Duplexis fight, he's pretty athletic, decent enough grappling. I know, was it the Kevin Holland fight? I can't remember what. I think it was the Kevin Holland card where he had like an anxiety attack or something, and like he couldn't walk out or whatever. I don't know if
Yeah,
that, yeah, that, yeah. So hopefully we don't have another one of those.
Bruh.
But I like Trevin. Um, he's fighting a dude on his debut, so like Cody said, I expect this experience to take a factor in it. Trevin is pretty durable. It's probably gonna be just Trevin fucking keeping him at kick range. We're gonna see a lot of fucking grappling. I'm gonna go Trevin by decision. I don't see Trevin knocking. No offense to him, I don't see him like as that guy to be like knocking out people, like running through people. He's not that type of fighter. He's real like technical and clean with his striking. So I'm gonna go Trevin. All right. Pryoxis. What do you think?
Hey, based off of what Cody said, because I don't personally know either one of these dudes, so I'm like the casual here. I'm going Trevin too. Both of y'all going Trevin, so I'm just gonna go with the unanimous Trevin as well, man. And I'm gonna go with a decision.
Great then. Decision. Okay, okay. I like that. I like
yeah.
okay.
You think Trevin by decision's a pretty decent line if you're looking to bet on that fight, but overall, I'm not really somebody who's trying to put too much trust in Trevin Giles. I mean, I do, like I said, I think it's a decent step down in competition. I think he should be the favorite. People have been betting him all week, changing that line a little bit, but I'm not going to put enough faith in him to bet him, but I will pick him by decision. And then the next fight, y'all probably know these guys. We got Cody Stamann taking on Saeed Nurmagomedov. And then Cody Stamann, definitely, a lot of experience. I mean, you could argue this is another step down in competition. It's kind of similar to the last fight, to another guy who's kind of been on like a rough tear lately because he's coming off 2 losses. Lost to Merab Dvalishvili. That was by decision. I mean, Merab doesn't typically finish people, but I mean, the Jimmy Rivera fight was before that, another decision, and that was a really good fight. I feel like that fight was really interesting because, they both have a really similar style. They're both kind of got that wrestle boxer style. And, I mean, he went to a draw with Song Yadong. He beat Brian Keller and Alejandro Perez, Brian Caraway, Tom Dukawa. He was the one who got knee barred by Aljamain Sterling. Man, that knee bar was nasty. So, I mean, Cody Stamann, though, I do think that he can take Saeed down because Saeed, he's got that Nurmagomedov last name, but he doesn't have the wrestling or the grappling that they do. I mean, his jiu-jitsu seems pretty good. He's pretty good at, like, making scrambles, getting back up when people take him down, but he's more so trying to keep the fight on the feet. He's got really dynamic, like, striking kicks, mixes his punches in with his kicks really well. I mean, he's super fluid on the feet, but he's definitely going to have an advantage on the feet. But Cody has, he's been super durable. And I mean, I definitely think he can take. I almost called him Zabit. He does remind me of him.
Bro, I was literally gonna. I was literally
do look like Zabit.
I'm pretty sure they trained together. But Saeed, yeah, I mean, he has a similar style, honestly, to Zabit. But he's looked really good, and I mean, he's made me some money in his fights. But I definitely do think Cody can take him down. The problem is I just don't know if he can hold him down. Cody Stamann is really good at mixing his striking in to get some takedowns, but he's not really good at keeping top position. So I could see Saeed scrambling back to his feet. It's just going to be a matter of if Cody can just grind him for 3 rounds. Because if he can grind him for at least like the first 2 rounds, we could see definitely him getting the decision. I don't see him finishing Saeed unless Saeed completely gasses out, but I do think Cody's another live dog here because, I mean, Saeed Nurmagomedov is minus 200. He's 2-1, and I just think that that's kind of crazy given, the caliber that Cody Stamann's fought. So I'm going to go Cody Stamann by decision. I just think, especially at like a nice underdog odds, he's got a good chance to pull that off and just grind him for 2 rounds. He's done it before to high-level guys with better takedown defense than Saeed, so he definitely could get pieced up on the feet if he don't get to those takedowns. But overall, I'm gonna go Cody by decision.
Yeah, I'm gonna go the opposite. I'm gonna go Saeed. Like you said, it reminds you of Zabit. I really like his striking. Honestly, his whole overall game kind of mimics Zabit. That crazy, unpredictable type of striking with the kicks. The high variant of strikes. Not the best offensive wrestling. Good enough jiu-jitsu, but like you said, Cody is very, very durable. Mixes up his punches, bro. His boxing I really like Cody's boxing. If he loses this fight, I'm sorry, he's a gatekeeper. Because I've been saying this for a while. He's kind of treading in between 11 and 15. Like he'll do good, and then like he just like up a drop. So he's like kind of treading between those little few rankings. He fought Merab last fight. He really didn't look too bad, but it's Merab. Merab literally just lays in praise like a cheese on UFC 4. So that you really can't do anything about that. But I'm gonna go Saeed. I just think the striking is gonna be too much for Cody. Now if Cody really works in that wrestling from the first fucking round, I can see him winning, but it's just that I don't know, man. I just feel like that striking from Saeed is just gonna be a little bit too much. I'm gonna go Saeed second round KO. I think Saeed is gonna get him out of that second round.
Hey, bro. So Cody went with the decision with Cody Stamann. You going Saeed second round submission, right? Yeah, bro. I'm not gonna hold you, bro. I'm going with the experience, and Cody Stamann has been in there with some top level guys, so I'm going Cody Stamann. I'm actually going for the finish in the 3rd round, bro. I'm going for Cody Stamann ground and pound finish in the 3rd round.
Nice. Okay. And I'm gonna need Jay to say Merab's name correctly. Call him Merab one more time.
It's Merab the Velaseshi.
Oh my god! All right, well, yeah, nah. That's gonna be a good fight either way. I would like to note, 2 underdogs over here. I'm the underdog kid. But let's move in to the 3rd fight. We got Michel Pereira taking on Andre Fialho, and this is kind of interesting because you have seen Pereira. Obviously, he's known as the guy who does like the backflips and while he's coming out to the cage and just does a bunch of crazy shit in his fights. He literally did a backflip onto Nico Price's head in the last fight. I don't know how that wasn't like, and it changed the whole round, which was the round that cost Nico the fight. So that kind of blew me. I thought that should have been, I thought that should have at least he should have lost position there because he went right to mount after that. But you have seen him. I mean, he did do that in his last fight, but overall, he's kind of calmed down a little bit lately. Been a little less like ridiculous in there, wasting so much energy. Because you saw him waste a ton of energy and end up Tristan Connolly, a guy who looked like he was 2 weight classes under him, come back, grind him out for a decision. And you even saw him gas out in his last fight, in that Nico Price fight. Nico was chasing him down at the end.
Oh, yeah, he gassed big time in that fight.
He gassed hard, and I mean, I think the decision could have went either way, especially with that crazy backflip into his head, and then he got to mount. Like, if he loses position right there, Nico was piecing him up. I don't know. I definitely think Michel doesn't have the best gas tank, but lucky for him, Andre Fialho doesn't either. And I honestly think Pereira has a better gas tank than him. You see Fialho going in there. He's just the type of guy who just wants to come in and get you out of there in the first round by knockout. And if he doesn't do that, it typically does not go well for him. And I don't think his grappling is very good. I don't think his takedown defense is very good. And Pereira is going to have a size advantage on him, a decent one, and like he does for almost everybody in the division. Man is absolutely massive.
No,
he looks like a
huge.
Light heavyweight
He
at welterweight. But overall, I think the easiest path to victory would be Pereira to come in here and just take him down. But if he doesn't do that, I still think he can win. But we've seen Pereira. He's not. I mean, he also just his striking defense isn't great, but he does get hit, and we've seen him get knocked out before. So I do think Fialho might have a little bit better like chin if they just trade in the pocket. That's not going to be where Pereira wants to fight. But at range, he's better, and on the ground, he's better. I think he can take Fialho down. Can you bank on Pereira to go in there and fight to a smart game plan? I'd rather not. So I'm not going to be betting on that fight either. But I do think that, it's his fight to lose. He's a better striker. He's got better conditioning, which is crazy to say about Michel Pereira. Typically, I'm going the other way with that.
Yeah.
But I'm not betting minus 280 on a guy who I don't know. He's just you can't really bank on him to fight to a game plan. So I'll go Michel Pereira, but kind of stuck between decision and a TKO. But minus 280 is kind of steep. Minus 300, depending on what book you're on, is kind of steep for a guy who might go in there and just throw a backflip and get DQ'd. But yeah, I do think he's a better fighter, and it's a pretty favorable matchup for him. So I'm going to take Michel Pereira. I'll probably say TKO, but decision or TKO, I wouldn't play a prop in that. It could go a lot of ways.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Michel Pereira, however you say his fucking name. Listen, y'all gonna hear me butcher a lot of these names, cause listen, y'all need to get some more pronounceable last names. But anyway, I'm gonna have to disagree with Cody. And when he fought Zaleem on that Overeem Saki card, that Augusto Saki card, he really looked. I didn't think he looked too bad. He really stuck to the game plan that whole fight. I mean, he was slapping him, like literally like kissing his hand and fucking slapping him. But I mean, he stuck to the game plan pretty well, and then he just got the rear naked choke, literally like what like 10 seconds left or something crazy like that. He looked real good in the Chaos Williams fight. I really liked this performance in that fight. In the Nico Price fight, I mean, when you're going up against Nico Price, I mean, Nico Price has damn good cardio, and Michel Pereira's, he's trying to trend down on the wildness, really trying to hone in on using his skill set more than the flashiness. So I mean, I wouldn't say I expected him to gas, but like I would say Nico kind of forced that flashy shit out of him to kind of like get him to trend away from this game plan. But I mean, he's fighting a dude like Cody said, who's gonna just come out and swing for the fences. I believe that double leg is literally gonna be wide fucking open for Michel, bro. Literally, I promise you, fucking Andre's gonna come out and just try to hit him with fucking 100% pie. He's gonna be spamming what's the power shot input on Fight Night Champion? RB. He's just gonna be spamming power punches. It's gonna be an easy takedown. Now, Michelle, I don't know, my guy. You gotta be a little. You gotta put that pride to the side. You gotta go for that takedown. You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna go Michelle Pereira. I'm gonna go first round submission.
Submission?
Yeah, I'm gonna go first round. Yeah, I really think he could. I wholeheartedly believe that if he literally does not do no flashy shit and goes in there to win, shoot a double leg in his wraps, because that dude's not gonna be able to get up. I got him first round submission. That's how I got it. You know what I'm saying? This is coming from the guy who predicted Juliana Pena versus Amanda
I was waiting for it. I do think his submission's possible because he is a black belt. He has a massive size advantage, and Fialho's not a great grappler. I just wouldn't trust on him to go in there and actually implement a smart game plan.
Yeah,
possible.
Okay, so question though, and that's probably why you're not betting Cody. But does Michelle go in there and just ego?
Yeah,
because
exactly.
You can go in there with a game plan, and then Michelle goes crazy. You get a rock, something happens, you turn into Cody Garbrandt, like literally.
Yeah, that can't happen. Andre does have the power to, if he catch him slipping, Michelle can definitely go to sleep.
I mean, Michelle can do the same thing to him, can he not?
Yeah,
that man throws wild. He throws, when he does go wild, he go crazy. And I mean, if they both got bad gas tanks, then who knows what could happen. I mean, I honestly think this is going to be one of them, both of them going to go crazy type of fights in the first round. And I actually got Michelle getting a knockout in the first round with something wild. But I think it's going to be like with the right hand, like catching them with a counter versus like something like flying knee or something crazy like that. So first round, TKO, Michelle Pereira.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay, so you got what? Decision, sub, and KO. Oh,
Right.
wait, you went decision, right, Cody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of bitched out and took both, but if I gun to my head, I'd take knockout too, but probably second round.
Okay.
I just think I wouldn't put it past Michelle to be a little bit more tame and just kind of mix in some takedowns in the third round and just, to win once they're both tired. But overall, I think the most likely thing is Fialho doesn't have a great striking defense. He's definitely there to be hit. He could definitely catch Michelle with something, but I could see either one of them getting knocked out as the most likely scenario. But it's time for the co-main event. First title fight on the card. You got Brandon Moreno, the defending champ, coming back, and it's the trilogy, which is kind of interesting. And it's especially interesting because most trilogies have like a break between them at least. But this is 3 straight fights in a row, which is super rare. I think it's only happened like one other time, and I can't think of when, but it's been a long time. Even the DC Stipe, which everyone keeps telling me when I bring this up, but I remember DC went and fought Derek Lewis after the first one. So there was a break. This is kind of like unique because they're literally like, it's kind of got get a little bit tiring. It's like, damn, give me someone else. I got to fight this same motherfucker. And then, like, imagine what happens if friggin' Figgy goes in there and knocks this dude out. We're going to get, I mean, it could potentially be 4 in a row, bro.
Yeah.
So, definitely looking forward to this fight. The good thing about the fact that we're not putting this out till late is we got to see the weigh-in. So that was something I was waiting for, like, super hard for this fight, was because, in both first fights, Figgy had such a hard time making weight. So when I broke this down on my channel, I was talking about just the fact that it's hard to even make a choice until I see the weigh-in because, in the first fight, Figgy went to the hospital the day before for weight-cutting issues. And the second one, he looked even worse. And that was the worst Figueiredo I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And the Joey B fight, too, the first Joey B fight.
Yeah, I mean, he's had weight-cutting issues from the beginning. I mean, he missed weight in a title fight, like you were saying. The Joey B first title fight, he missed weight for a title fight. He would have been the champion going into the second fight. He would have got pay-per-view points. He would have, now it wouldn't have been much, but he would have got, champion benefits. You still make more money when you have the belt. and he missed out on all that because he missed weight. And he would have probably got a performance of the night bonus because he just destroyed Joey B that night. Poor Joey.
Greasy.
Yeah, both times. He straight up, oh man, killed my boy Joey. But anyways, so the weight cut was huge, and Figgy looked good, man. He literally made 124. That was one thing. Like, I wasn't really making a big deal out of him being training with Henry Cejudo and Fight Ready. Like, everybody's like, oh, he's going to be completely new. It's like, dude, he's been fighting for over 10 years. He's not going to completely change his style in, like, a month, 2 months, 3 months. Maybe he'll be able to implement, like, a new wrinkle here or there. Maybe he goes for a 1-2 take. Like, maybe he tries to mix it up. Shows a little bit of a different look here and there, obviously. He's not too old to make a change like that. But is he going to come in like Henry Cejudo? Is Figueiredo going to come in with a singlet on? No. He's going to come in and try to knock. He's going to throw bombs and try to knock Moreno out because that's what he does.
Yeah.
If he does something different, he's only hurting himself. Obviously, you can show new wrinkles, but overall, you wouldn't even want him to change who he is. That's what got him the title. So I do think that he's got to find. I mean, that's up to him and his team to find that perfect balance. What'd you say?
No, you get my light came off.
Yeah, now I noticed. But I mean, it's just going to be up to the fact that if he can find his balance on that, because he wants to put that pressure on, but at the same time, and Moreno's got that Mexican toughness. You ain't just going to knock that dude out in a minute. Right. He's going to be there for a full 25, 9 times out of 10. So, I mean, more likely than that, going off his record. I don't think Moreno has ever been TKO'd. I know he got submitted, I think, on the Ultimate Fighter. But he typically when he's losing, he'll take you the distance, and that hurts when it's 5 rounds for Figgy. He's just not really. That's not his style. I mean, he's gone 5 before, but I mean, he'd much rather. Most of his wins, he's getting you out of there early. So I do still have to lean Moreno, but the fact that Figgy, looks pretty good on the scales and stuff, it definitely, seeing Figgy at plus 150, and I haven't seen the line for like Figgy inside the distance, because if I was betting Figgy, I'd probably do that. But then honestly, it'd be a little scary because I could see it going like the first fight. And even with the point deduction from the first fight, I think that Figgy won that fight. I thought Figgy won. So if Figgy looks even better now with his weight cut, he was in a hospital the day before that fight. Right. So he might look even better than that first fight. Now, obviously, you never know. Moreno could be making his own improvements. But I'm just saying, Figgy makes that weight cut good. If he can go a full 25, I do think he can win the fight, and he could even win it by decision. That's why I maybe not play the prop. I've been really torn on that. But I do think there is value on Figgy. People are like acting like he's just done. The fact that he looked good on the scales, like, it definitely makes me, a little bit more confident in him. But if it was regardless of line, if I'm making a pick, it's going to be Brandon Moreno. And I still think, if you're taking Brandon Moreno, maybe you look at the sub prop, because I really do feel like, I mean, obviously a decision could happen too. But, I mean, who knows? We saw in the last fight, once he got to his back, it was pretty much over. So, obviously that sub is live for Moreno. But really, the props are kind of difficult for this fight because I could see it going a lot of different ways. So I would really pick your side and probably take it straight. But as far as a pick, I'll take Brandon Moreno, and I'll take him by decision.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Figgy by decision. Like Cody mentioned, I really think the nutrition aspect really is gonna play a factor in this. Him going from training in Brazil, not having the best of resources, then coming over to the U.S., going train with Cejudo, and then getting those resources as far as nutrition. I think Figgy can take this, and the fact that he was the second one, if I'm not mistaken, he was the second one on the scale, and he made weight comfortably. Yeah, I think he can really win. I would not be surprised if he can. He has the. I wouldn't say he has the power to KO Moreno, but Moreno's chin and durability, that conditioning, just man, I don't know. That's gonna be a real tough thing to do. But I'm gonna take Davison by decision. Not saying that Brandon Moreno isn't a killer, because he is. I mean, when you talk about overall complete game, I don't think anyone is gonna dispute that skill wise, as far as like an overall complete game, I would think he's better than Davison, in my humble opinion. Um, Brandon Moreno, great boxing, great jiu-jitsu. I mean, obviously he has great wrestling. Took down Davison and then got his back. So, I mean, we'll see how the fight goes. Like Cody said, I thought Davison won too, even with the point deduction. Um, so we will see. Davison has the power. He has the tendency of going forward and not backing up. So we're gonna see what Brandon is gonna do to make that adjustment. But I'm going Davison decision. I really don't see. I don't know. Because even in that second fight, he caught a second win because he kind of gassed around that third round, and then in the fourth round he was kind of dragging it along, and then he just got a second win out of nowhere. So I mean, like Cody said, not the last fight, the first fight, he was in a hospital a day before. So it's like, even with better nutrition, maybe his cardio looks even better. It's gonna be the same Davison. It's not like he's gonna come out like Weili Zhang and just be straight up fucking wrestling shoe. That's not Davidson's not gonna do that. He's gonna go out there. He's trying to rearrange Brandon's face, and it looks like he's taking his fight very seriously. I wouldn't say I've never seen him take a fight this seriously, but for him to be on it with the weight, because he's had problems literally throughout his entire career. And this specific fight, his weight is on point. He's taking this fight very seriously. So I'm going to go Figueiredo by decision.
I just got one question. Why the hell was he wearing a grill? I just need to know, why was Figueiredo...
Yo, he looked like an anime final boss, man. I'm not going to lie, yo. He looked kind of fucking sick to me. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, yo, if you saw that guy in an alley, like he looked like a Yakuza member or something, bro. I would not mess with that guy.
Yeah, Brandon, I thought he was reading lines off of like his phone. People was like, yeah, Henry Cejudo like was texting him like lines.
Apparently, he was on Instagram Live.
Yeah, he was on Instagram Live. So I mean, yeah, that's pretty funny too. But
hey,
who you going with, Pry? Who you going with, man?
Hey, bro. With all due respect, bro, Figueiredo's not knocking him out, and he's not beating him either, bro. Honestly, I can see him. I know all this look good, made weight, yada, yada, yada. But I think we still get the same Davison Figueiredo that goes out there and tries to take his head off round 1 and round 2, and then slow down round 3, the same thing again. And I don't, bro, Brandon Moreno is a Mexicano. That man, they chin built different. And I just don't think Figueiredo is going to knock him out. And I think same thing's going to happen. I honestly think Brandon Moreno may implement wrestling even earlier in this fight due to how he got him to the ground and how easily he got his back and got there rear naked. But yeah, I think that'll also help out with gassing him out. And I honestly say round 3 TKO Brandon Moreno.
Nice. Well,
okay.
Hey, I could definitely see it. Probably more on like traps him in a position and from on top. What is going on with this guy over here?
Oh,
I think Jay died.
I just got acid reflex. Oh man,
it's reflux, not reflex.
Reflux.
Reflex.
Same fucking thing, my guy. Oh my god.
But you know what time it is, though. It's time for the main event. You got Francis Ngannou, the champ, taking on Cyril Gane, former training partner and the interim champ. So we're gonna have the unification of the heavyweight belts, and I'm definitely super excited about it. It's definitely a classic matchup. You got the big old power. And I won't really. I guess you kind of label him a boxer, but definitely likes to do most of his work with the hands. Right. He threw a couple leg kicks in the Stipe fight. He still don't look like great with the kicks, but you don't want to get hit by that damn tree trunk. You ain't eating too many of those. It might not be perfect, but that thing hit you in the ribs or in your in your leg. That ain't gonna feel good.
Right.
But obviously, you don't really expect him to throw many kicks against Cyril Gane. I don't think he'll be wanting to play too much of that game. That's not really a game he can. I mean, even though apparently he sat Cyril Gane down with a left high kick, if you saw the press conference.
Yeah, I seen that.
Yeah, but talking about the training stuff, I do think that you never want to read too much into sparring. I mean, I know firsthand. Maybe there's a day that you get the better of sparring. The next day they're beating your ass, and even within certain sparring sessions, like that wasn't like a full video. There were clips taken out, and honestly, I thought Francis came off like a G at the press conference and just throughout the week. He was like, "Look, I only even talked about how I knocked you out in sparring because y'all wanted to go and release the clips, and since y'all wanted to like put out certain clips and take out all the parts where I'm doing good." Then I'm going to tell people what actually happened. And honestly, Cyril didn't deny it. He said, yeah, I got knocked down. I wasn't asleep. And honestly, I could tell by the interaction, Francis ain't lying. Like, maybe he didn't knock him out cold, but you could tell he was like, did you get your bag and leave? And Gane was like, what did he say? And just change the subject. It's like, that's exactly what happened, because I've seen that happen a million times. And I can understand what Gane was saying, and like you have certain guys who don't know how to just like technical spar. They make up for the fact that you're better than them by like, if you start piecing them up when you're like sparring light, they just throw a fucking haymaker as hard as they can, try to like knock you out or try to fuck you up to try to like kind of balance that out, because it's frustrating to get beat up, just like in jiu-jitsu when you're kind of rolling lighter with someone. At least with jiu-jitsu you can roll hard more. Oh my god. But if you know, you know.
Be on your top. They gonna be on your top on Twitter.
Here come the comments. But at least with jiu-jitsu wrestling, you can go hard. With the striking, it's a little bit more frowned upon when like you got a guy who it's like they're just a higher level than the other person, so the other person just doesn't know how to just take that. They just I'm gonna just try to knock this guy out. So I could see maybe there's some truth to that, but you could also see that. That's still a mentality thing. Like at the end of the day, Francis made him quit sparring and go home or like stop training. That's something Cyril's gonna be thinking about. Like, yeah, maybe in his head he could tell himself, oh well, if I was trying to, he just don't know how to spar technical. If I would to step it up and try to knock him out, I'd do the same thing. But at the end of the day, when you're like thinking about things, you couldn't help but think like, damn, like. Maybe I could have done that, but what happened was he sat me on my ass. But at the same time, you got to look at the fact that, like, just the fact that they have done sparring could also help Cyril, because, like, a lot of people get in there at Francis and they look at him like, holy I mean, I see why. If I was staring at that fucking freak of nature across the octagon, I'd be thinking the same thing. But they let him just walk him down and just bully him. You would think Gane is going to be a little. I mean, unless he really has taken a good beating in sparring, and I imagine they both had successes. I've seen the clips of Gane doing well against Francis, but I also believe what Francis says, and through their interaction, I'm sure they both had their moments. But you got to think that would be a little bit of a mental thing. Like Gane can be like, "Yo, he's only a dude. Like I've had my better moments. He's had his better moments. I can beat this guy." So I don't typically weigh too much into sparring, but in that situation, I do think it could help him. It could hurt him. It is a factor. But overall, the breakdown's pretty simple with this fight. Gane's going to be throwing way more volume. He's going to be winning the rounds. It's all about, can he avoid that missile of a right hand. I mean, I shouldn't even just limit him to the right hand. His left hook is super mean too. But yeah, I mean, he's going to be winning the rounds, and it's all. I don't find it likely that Francis could win a decision. I mean, maybe if he got a couple knockdowns, he can go 25 minutes. Maybe it's possible, but 9 times out of 10, if Francis wins this fight, it's going to be by knockout. So if you're betting him, just take him by knockout. And then if you're betting Cyril, I think yeah, there's a chance that Francis comes out so hard he gets countered and knocked out. But most likely, if Cyril wins, it's going to be 4th, 5th, or by decision. So I've been kind of torn between taking maybe 4th, 5th, or by 4th, 5th finish or by decision prop, or take and then kind of hedging it with Francis round 1 knockout, because I do think those are the 2 most likely scenarios is either Francis comes in, blitzes him early, and gets that finish. The thing that kind of messes me up there is I also think that the second round's possible. Outside of the second round, I do not see Francis winning. Maybe early 3rd, but after we get to about the end of the second round, his chances of winning are going to start really going down, in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, it's just about can Cyril, avoid those missiles coming at him. If he can, he's going to be winning all the rounds, except maybe the first. I think he's going to be super timid in that first round. He's even openly said he knows the first round is going to be crazy. Francis going to try to take his head off. So I think Francis probably going to be kind of measured like he was in the Stipe fight, measured for Francis Ngannou. But at the same time, I think he knows he needs to finish him. So I could see Francis second round knockout. But overall, if I got to make a pick, I'm going to say Cyril Gane by decision.
Man, this is a real hard fight. It's harder than people think. It's just it seems like the bias is just going towards Cyril because he has a complete arsenal. But it's something that Cyril does. He's been doing in his past fights that's kind of worrying. He did it in the Jairzinho fight. He did it in the Volkov fight. He really didn't do it in the Lewis fight because he was pretty much on the front foot. But when Lewis pressed forward, he kind of did it. Yeah, he backs up. He backs up in a straight line with his chin directly in the air, and that's what scares me. When Jairzinho pressed forward and when Volkov specifically pressed forward, he backed up with his chin in the air, just saying, Darren Till, just hit me in my chin, please. So I can kind of see where I think Francis and Eric Nixick and those dudes at Extreme Couture could probably game plan around that and get Francis, the KO win. But man, Cyril's his complete arsenal is just crazy, bro. The way he completely fucking neutralized Derek Lewis, that shocked me. I'm not even gonna lie. It shocked because Derek Lewis, he couldn't do anything. It was just literally fuck. What am I he was getting every time he tried to walk forward, teep to the body. All right, let me try to circle in this way and walk forward. Nah, side kick, leg kick. You getting jabbed. That shit, like Cody said, bro, that shit is fucking frustrating. It got to a point where Derek Lewis was literally just right in a cage, wanting Cyril to come in so he could hit him with a right hand. It was like, my guy, that's not happening to me. Cyril was we're not doing that. No. So we'll see what happens. I really don't like the bias around both fighters. I mean, not the bias, but the stuff that people kind of tend to sway with. How Francis all of a sudden now has takedown defense. I mean, if you go back and watch the first Stipe fight, he stuffed them. I think he stuffed 4 single legs in between 2 rounds against Francis. So I don't know where that came from. That's why I literally do not like when people do takes oh my goodness, Francis has take. No, he's an MMA fighter. Why did all of a sudden he that's a whole nother story. But I think Francis can deny. He can stuff a few takedowns. The matter, like Cody said, the thing is, the longer the fight goes, the worse it gets for Francis. It's gonna be a long night. I think if Francis don't get him out of there in 2 rounds, it's over. If I'm being quiet, it's over for Francis. I see Francis gassing, and I see him just going back to old Francis and winging shots and eating a front kick. So I'm gonna go Cyril Gane decision. I would not be surprised if he gets a 4th round KO. I'm kind of leaning towards the 4th round KO, if I'm being honest, but just for the sake of this, and I'm wanting to keep my undefeated record because I'm getting every pick right, I'm gonna go decision Cyril Gane. Yeah.
All right, bro. So my take on that specifically with this fight, and I know y'all saying Francis gassing out, but I don't think Francis is going to fight at a pace to gas himself out. Like I think he's going to fight real. Don't get me wrong, he's going to throw bombs, but they're going to be at his pace because Cyril Gane isn't going to press the or force shots out of Francis Ngannou or force him backwards or attack the body too much, because I think Francis is going to play from the outside in like short control bursts. Like, okay, this flurry didn't work. Okay, this flurry didn't work. I think he's going to do that because he knows what Cyril Gane is capable of, drag him into the 4th round, the 5th round, honestly. And then if I have to make a prediction, bro, I'm sorry, bro. I got to go off of what I've seen, bro. Francis Ngannou round 1 KO, bro. I'm sorry, bro. Like you know what happens when I connect. Like, I'm sorry, bro. I'm going with the first round KO.
And the crazy thing is when he pressed Jairzinho actually dodged every single punch, and then one punch landed and he went out. That's crazy.
And it was all arm. It was like the weirdest punch. It didn't even look like it wasn't correct. It was like it was the worst punch out of the whole flurry, and it knocked him to another planet.
That's crazy.
That's scary.
If any of the and the craziest part about that combo, since you brought that up, was a lot of people can have power on the first punch they throw or the second punch they throw, especially if the first punch is like a jab or like even a hook into a cross or something like that. But it was like the 4th or 5th punch in the combo that knocked him out. So it's like, imagine he's throwing combinations and every single one of it, like the 5th punch on the combination can put you out cold.
Oh my goodness.
You know what I mean? Like
scary.
That's something that people don't really think about. Like he came at him and it was like the 5th punch in the combination and it didn't even land flush. Like it did, but it didn't. If it did because it was Francis, it was plenty enough. But like if that's not Francis, it didn't. It was like a weird punch. Right. But it just Francis got that next level. If he connects with your chin or temple, you're going to sleep.
Yeah.
Period.
So
I feel you, man. The round 1 KO could definitely happen.
Yeah, I'm definitely want round 1 KO. With all due respect to Cyril Gane, but even if Cyril Gane becomes champion, I'm not even mad at that because now we get the opportunity to possibly Jon Jones actually wants to fight. Because with all due respect, I personally think Jon Jones, you can say, oh, he's not ducking Francis. He just wants money.
No, I as a person that love Jon Jones in the ring. Let me clarify this. In the ring, I think Francis is a harder fight for Jon than Cyril. And that's saying a lot because
I think they both beat Jon at this point.
At this point, I don't know.
MMA is crazy, man. And if you put steroids aside, like I don't like Jon, but I'll set that aside and say if you count cheaters, Jon is the GOAT. But I think, man, at this point, he's had a long-ass layoff. His last couple fights have been close. Now you're going up, not only fighting more dangerous guys, but at a new weight class. He looks slow in these videos that he's posted straight up. And I bet you, win or lose, he's going to look slow at heavyweight. Because
I think it's just the way I don't know, maybe he's posting clips like at the end of training, saying like, "Hey, let me get this IG video."
Let me tell you something. You don't post clips you don't think look good. When you're a martial artist, you're gonna post a clip where you're like, "Yeah, I look good right there."
Yeah,
that's
true.
why, especially when you're in the UFC, especially when you have the ego of Jon Jones, you look at that clip like, this is the good part of this video. I'm going to put this up. I look fucking good. That's what every single person ever has ever done. Yeah. Especially somebody with the ego of Jon Jones. That man he's a straight up narcissist to another level. So he don't put anything on his social media that doesn't make him look exactly how he wants to look.
Right.
So, and I just feel like, man, dude, you got to think, yeah, he might be in the octagon at like 220 when he fights at light heavyweight, but let's just say, okay, 225, whatever he may be, even 230. That's pushing it. I don't think he's in there that heavy. 220 something. He's talking about 265, bro. Let's say he's exact. Let's say he does 250, 255. That's like 30 extra pounds. That's a lot different. Not just your opponent's different, bigger, heavier, stronger, hits harder, especially Francis. And Cyril Gane is a similar style to you. He's just naturally 50 pounds bigger.
All right.
And I don't know, man. The long layoff, new weight class. I really do feel like Cyril or Francis Ngannou. And 2 years ago, I would have said John beats them both. Even this version of them today, I would have had 2 years ago, John would have beat them. But like them 2 years ago and the current Francis and Cyril would lose to John 2 years ago. But with the layoff, the new weight class, he's getting older. His last couple fights have been close. I mean, Thiago Santos, yeah, he's got destroyed knees because of John at this point. But so that's obviously a factor. But you can't buy a round, let alone a win lately. And he took John to a fight that a lot of people think he won. Dominic Reyes can't win a fight right now. All respect to him. I was rooting for him in his last one. He did rock Yuri a couple times. But obviously, it's Jan Blachowicz, the former champ, and number one contender who he lost to. But still, 2 losses by KO after that, arguably beat John. Like, all these, if it was just one of those things, I would still pick John. But all those combined, bro, I honestly think he loses regardless of who he fights there.
Right.
So.
But hey, let's wrap. Let's go ahead and we can continue talking. We gotta wrap this video up. This thing is 46 minutes. But we're gonna get this over with. Appreciate everybody watching. I'm gonna put the link to Cody's Twitch and his YouTube channel in the description below, and also JMMA. I'm gonna put his YouTube channel in the description below. Y'all subscribe up, follow Cody on Twitch, subscribe to JMMA. Appreciate everybody if you made it this far into the video. If you did, be sure to hit the like button.
Do something productive with your day. Beating your meat. It's not productive.
Oh my god!
All right, there you go.
Right,
this is for kids and families.
We out.